Medicine is, I have found, a strange and in many ways disturbing business. The stakes are high, the liberties taken tremendous. We drug people, put needles and tubes into them, manipulate their chemistry, biology, and physics, lay them unconscious, and open their bodies up to the world. We do so out of an abiding confidence in our know-how as a profession. What you find when you get in close, however, close enough to see the furrowed brows, the doubts and missteps, the failures as well as the successes, is how messy, uncertain, and also surprising medicine turns out to be. The thing that still startles me is how fundamentally human an endeavor it is. Usually, when we think about medicine and its remarkable abilities, what comes to mind is the science and all it has given us to fight sickness and misery, the tests, the machines, the drugs, the procedures. And without question, these are at the center of virtually everything medicine achieves. But we rarely see how it all actually works. You have a cough that won't go away, and then it's not science you call upon, but a doctor. A doctor with good days and bad days. A doctor with a weird laugh and a bad haircut. A doctor with 3 other patients to see, and, inevitably, gaps in what he knows and skills he's still trying to learn. Recently, a boy was flown in by helicopter to one of the hospitals where I work as a resident. Lee Tran, as we can call him, was a small, spiky-haired kid barely out of elementary school. He had always been healthy, but for the previous week his mother had noticed he had a dry, persistent cough and seemed less energetic than usual. For the last couple days he'd hardly eaten. She thought it was probably a flu. That evening, however, he came to her pale, tremulous, and wheezing, suddenly unable to catch his breath. At a local emergency room, the doctors gave him vaporized breathing treatments, thinking he was having an asthma attack. But then an X-ray revealed an immense mass filling the middle of his chest. They got a CT scan for a more detailed picture. In stark black and white, it showed the mass to be a dense, almost football-sized tumor enveloping the vessels to his heart, pushing the heart itself to one side, and compressing the airway to both lungs. The tumor had already completely crushed the passage to his right lung, and without air coming through, the lung had collapsed to a gray nubbin on the scan. A sea of fluid from the tumor occupied his right chest instead. Lee was living entirely off his left lung, and the tumor was pressing down on the airway to it, too. The community hospital he was in did not have the resources to deal with this, so the doctors there sent him to us. We had the specialists and high-tech equipment, but that didn't mean we were sure what to do. By the time Lee arrived in our intensive care unit, his breathing was a buzzing, reedy stridor. You could hear it 3 beds away. The scientific literature is unequivocal about this situation. It is deadly dangerous. Just laying him down could cause the tumor to cut off the remainder of his airway. Giving him sedatives or anesthesia could do the same. Surgery to remove the tumor is impossible. Chemotherapy, however, is known to shrink some of these tumors over the course of a few days. The question was how to buy the child time to find out. It wasn't clear he'd last the night. We had 2 nurses, an anesthesiologist, a pediatric surgery junior fellow, and 3 residents at the bedside, myself included. The senior pediatric surgeon was on his cell phone, driving in from home. An oncologist was on page. One nurse propped Lee up on pillows to make sure he was as upright as he could be. The other put an oxygen mask on his face and hooked up monitors tracking his vital signs. The boy's eyes were wide and worried, and his breathing was about twice too fast. His family was still far away, having to travel by ground, but he remained sweetly brave, as children do more often than you'd expect. My first instinct was that the anesthesiologist should put a stiff breathing tube into the boy's airway to fix it open before the tumor closed in. But the anesthesiologist thought this was nuts. She'd have to put the tube in without good sedation, with the kid sitting up no less. And the tumor extended far along the airway. She wasn't convinced she could reach a tube past it easily enough. The surgical fellow